Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My beloved brothers and sisters, I want to speak to your heart today, not just your mind. Many of us, when we are hurt, when we are broken, when we feel overwhelmed, the first thing we do is run to people. We call a friend, we post online, we vent, we offload, we pour it out to anyone who will listen. But I want to tell you today, very gently but very firmly, stop telling everyone your problems. Tell Allah instead. One, they hear you but they can't heal you. People, even those who genuinely love us, are not limitless. Their hearts have boundaries. Their understanding has gaps. Their patience has edges. Sometimes, when we pour our pain into someone else, they try to help, but they don't fully get it. Not because they don't care, but because they simply can't feel what you're feeling, the way you're feeling it. And as time goes on, even their support can start to fade. They may say, you're still going through that? Or they might unintentionally minimize your hurt by saying, others have it worse, at worst. And may Allah protect us from this. Your pain might even be used against you in moments of anger or betrayal. It happens. And when it does, the damage cuts deeper because you trusted them with a piece of your soul. That's the reality of people. They have limits. Limits to their listening. Limits to their ability to carry your grief. But Allah, the most merciful, the most loving, has no such limits. He doesn't get tired of you. You don't need to explain your situation 10 different ways. You don't have to wait for Him to be in a good mood. You don't even need to speak perfectly. Allah understands the trembling in your voice, the tear you blink back, the pain you hide from everyone else. He understands what's too heavy for you to put into words. There are moments when even your own self doesn't know what it needs. You just feel this sadness, this pressure in your chest, but you can't name it. That's okay, because Allah already knows it. He says in the Quran, and we are closer to Him than His jugular vein. What does that mean for you? It means that Allah is closer to you than your own thoughts, your own emotions. He knows you better than your mother, better than your spouse, better than you know yourself. So when the pain gets too much and you don't have the words, just raise your hands or don't. Just sit there broken and call out from the heart, even silently. And He hears. Even the dua you didn't say aloud is recorded. Even the tears you didn't let fall are known. Even the thoughts you tried to ignore are counted. That's the mercy of Allah. He never turns away. He never says not again. He never needs a break from you. He doesn't compare your pain. He doesn't shame you for still hurting. He listens. He comforts. He responds in ways you see and in ways you don't. So when you feel like no one truly gets it, remember, that's not loneliness. That's an invitation. An invitation to stop expecting what only Allah can provide. An invitation to whisper, or just breathe, or just weep, and know that He is listening always. And the best part, you don't need an appointment to speak to Allah. You don't have to wait for a reply. The moment a pain touches your heart, you can turn to Him, whether it's in the middle of the night, while you're stuck in traffic, or when you're silently sitting among people. His door is never closed. He doesn't delay you or reject you or make you feel like a burden. That in itself is a mercy we overlook, that the King of Kings invites you to speak to Him directly, without anyone in between. So why replace that sacred access with people who don't even understand the depths of your heart? 2, sharing with the wrong people can break you further. There's something we all do when we feel overwhelmed, something so instinctive. We often don't even pause to think about it. When life hurts us, when our hearts are heavy, when disappointment strikes, we go looking for someone to tell. We pick up the phone, we send a message. We pour our hearts out in voice notes or long rants, hoping that if we just let it out, the pain will feel lighter. And sometimes, yes, it helps for a moment, temporarily. But here's the truth, my beloved sister and brother. Not everyone deserves access to your pain. Not every soul is meant to hear your story. Not every friend, no matter how close, is capable of handling your vulnerability with the care it deserves. You might share your feelings with someone thinking, they love me, they understand me, and perhaps they do for a while. But even the most caring hearts are human. They forget, they misinterpret, they compare. And in some cases, they unintentionally or intentionally misuse your trust. How many people have opened their hearts to someone only to later feel exposed, hurt, or betrayed? You tell someone about what you're going through, and suddenly that sacred pain, something so personal to you, becomes a topic of discussion, a passing comment, or worse, a weapon in an argument. And then you feel it, that sting of regret. I shouldn't have shared that. I thought they'd understand. I thought they'd protect my secret. And you know what's even harder? It's not always out of malice. Sometimes people share your pain just because they don't know what else to do with it. Your story was too heavy for them. Your emotions were too complex. And so they unload it somewhere else, trying to process it. But in the process, exposing you. That's why Allah, in His infinite wisdom, encourages us to practice modesty and privacy, not just in dress, but in our hearts. Our problems, our grief, our private battles, they are not meant for the public. They are not meant for every friend, cousin, or follower. They are sacred trusts between us and our Creator. Look at the story of Prophet Yaqub alayhi salam. He lost his beloved son Yusuf. His grief was so deep, he wept until he went blind. Now imagine that level of heartbreak, years of silence, pain, longing. But when he finally spoke about it, what did he say? I only complain of my sorrow and grief to Allah. Surah Yusuf 12:86. Think about that. He didn't complain to his other sons. He didn't announce it to his community. He didn't even vent to his closest family. He turned straight to Allah because he understood something most of us forget. The safest place for your sorrow is in the hands of the one who wrote your story. There is a deep dignity in turning your grief into dua instead of gossip. There is a spiritual strength in being able to carry your wounds with sabr, trusting that Allah knows even when no one else does. And what happens when you practice that kind of privacy, when you speak less to people and more to Allah? You protect your heart from being misunderstood. You protect your story from being misused. You protect your soul from the harm of unnecessary attention and pity. Because here's the reality. Sometimes people don't really want to help, they're just curious. Sometimes people pity you publicly but rejoice in your pain privately. May Allah protect us from such hearts. And even those who do care, they are not qualified to carry your grief the way your Lord is. He created your heart. He sees the tear before it falls. He hears the pain in your silence. He knows the worry behind your smile. And when you turn to Him alone, it becomes not just a moment of expression, but an act of worship. So instead of venting in group chats, instead of dropping cryptic captions on social media, instead of chasing validation from people who can't even fix their own problems, fall into sujood. Cry in front of the one who never misuses what you share. Speak to Allah first and most. And if you ever need someone to talk to, then choose wisely. Choose those who fear Allah, who will give you advice based on Quran and Sunnah, who won't spread your secrets or say, oh, I feel you, just to feel included. Your story is precious. Your pain is valuable. Don't trade it for temporary relief and permanent regret. Let Allah be your first listener, your primary confidant, your only refuge. Because when you give Him your pain, He gives you peace. And that peace, my beloved, is worth more than 1,000 I understand from people who really don't. Privacy in hardship is not about isolation, it's about preservation. You preserve the intimacy between you and Allah. You guard the sanctity of your journey. Not every scar needs to be shown. Not every lesson needs to be narrated publicly. When you choose to carry something quietly for the sake of Allah, He lifts it for you in a way that leaves you amazed. And when He grants you relief, when the ease finally arrives, you will know deep in your soul, only Allah could have done this. That realization is more comforting than any sympathy the world could ever offer. 3. Dua is more powerful than discussion. We live in a world where people listen with their ears, but very few listen with their hearts. You can pour your pain out to someone, speak for hours, cry, explain every detail, and still walk away feeling empty, as if you were never truly heard. Why? Because people may listen, but only Allah responds. Yes, your friend might nod, they might offer sympathy, they might say, I'm here for you. And that's a beautiful gesture, don't get me wrong. Allah has placed compassion between hearts, and we should appreciate those who offer it sincerely. But the truth is, no matter how much someone cares, they can't change your qadr. They can't rewrite what has been written. They can't heal the wound at its root. They might hand you tissues, but only Allah can remove the sorrow from the depths of your chest. You may speak to someone and feel better for a moment, and that's okay. But if all your conversations are with people and you've left out the one who created your pain and your cure, then you've missed the most important conversation of all. Because Allah Al-Mujib, the one who responds, never leaves you unanswered. He might not respond the way you expect. He might not respond when you expect. But rest assured, He responds in the best way, at the best time, with the best outcome for your soul. You see, when you talk to people, it ends there, a conversation, maybe advice, maybe a hug. But when you talk to Allah, it doesn't just stay between you and Him, it becomes worship. Your pain becomes a dua. Your tear becomes a form of dhikr. Your silence even becomes a moment of trust in Allah. You don't even need the right words. You don't need eloquence. You don't need to make sense of the storm inside you. Sometimes you just say, Ya Allah, and let the tears do the rest. And that raw, wordless cry reaches the heavens. Remember the verse in Surah Ghafir 40:60. Call upon me, I will respond to you. This is not a suggestion. It's not a vague offer. It's a promise from your Lord. He didn't say, call on me if you're perfect. He didn't say, only call when you have the right words. He didn't say, call when you're not crying. He said, call on me, I will respond. So when you've been wrong, talk to Allah. When your heart is breaking, talk to Allah. When the world feels too loud,